Hello everyone, Xile Grayson here. So I really want to talk about something. So a lot of people don't realise this, but I really can't stand Last of Us. I can't stand where a game that has not been out very long has had so many remakes that it just does not make sense why it needs to be remade. I mean, literally, Last of Us 1 came out at the tail end of the PS3 era, and then when the PS4 came out, there was suddenly the HD remaster. And then suddenly we had Last of Us Part 2. And then it was like, oh, we're going to remake Last of Us Part 1 again. And then we're going to remake Last of Us Part 2 again. And it was just constant all the time. And then you have the game creator saying, "Oh, it's very soul crushing to work on a game." Yeah, you literally have made one game, mate, and it's that type of thing. That's why when I see the TV show and then there's the stage show, it's like, how many times do you need to have Last of Us made when there is one game series that is only just now getting the love and attention that it deserves, and even now we've sort of had a remake. It still felt like they could have done more with this IP. And the reason why I want to talk about this game is because it's one of my favourite games. The soundtrack is amazing. I've always loved the lore behind it. It's got some of my most favourite characters in all of gaming history. The voice acting is amazing. I mean, Simon Templeman is just perfect for playing the villain in this. And then the person who also plays Raziel is just out there, and it's just the way they two work with each other, and it's like the way that they talk about like becoming vampires, but the way that it says become more divine. That phrase is just so it really is cool. And then obviously when you listen to the Soul Reaver 2 theme, where it's like Kain refused the sacrifice, and then you had the Pillars of Nosgoth, and just seeing how it all transpires, and it's basically Shakespeare in game form, and it's something that I'm surprised it just did not get a proper remaster. I want to see a proper remake. I don't want to see something like the Tomb Raider remasters where it's just like, oh, we're going to try and do something that's very similar to the Halo Master Chief Collection or the Xbox Live Arcade version of GoldenEye. If you haven't played that, go and get your hands on it. If you've got a PC, you can play it right now. Trust me, it's better than anything that they've released recently. Nintendo and Xbox really did fuck up when they should have just released this. It's way better. There's ways of getting it. I'm not going to tell you how, but Google it, you'll find it. But with Last of Us, there's just so many times I've seen it. The TV show, the stage show, oh, we're going to do like a live read-through, and it's just like, where there's like really good storytelling in Soul Reaver, like how it all links back and like loops around in time, and it's just, even though it's the way that the language is spoken, it's just like watching like Macbeth with vampires, or watching Romeo and Juliet with vampires. It's just that type of thing. And then the music, just the way it just sounds so out of this world. Like that, when I look at the game from like the PS1 era, it's just a completely like alien world. And to see it like in the remake, like just in the remaster, it was cool to see that, and I'm grateful for that, and I'm grateful that we're going to get Defiance as a remake. I mean, a remaster as well. But I really want to see a proper remake. I want to see it get the love, care, and attention that Last of Us gets, or Uncharted gets, or the Spider-Man games where they have to keep remaking the same fucking game over and over again when there's just no difference between the fucking gameplay or like anything, because it's like you've not really got to remake a game that's only come out like a few years ago. It's just ridiculous. Whereas like Soul Reaver and Legacy of Kain and Blood Omen, they all need like a proper remake, and you could just restart the whole franchise, just remake from the beginning, just remake Blood Omen 1, then make Soul Reaver, then make Blood Omen 2, then make Soul Reaver 2, and then just cap it all off with Defiance and set up the next game, which we've all been waiting for years. And it's like, when the moment they announced that they were bringing it back, it was just such a frenzy. And I just think it's just one of those games that it's one of those games you have to play for the first time. Like, it's in once the like there's what they say, like there's a game that you need to play that before you die, or like you at least needed to play it because you can say you completed it. And like, I honestly think if they did a new like Legacy of Kain game, the way that I think that would be a really good Legacy of Kain is to do something very similar to Blood Omen, where, well, not Blood Omen, Bloodborne, where it's like a Dark Souls type gameplay, like a Souls-like, because I think it would work. It would just be really cool. And, you know, it would be cool to work on, like, do like a spin-off where we play as the Seraphim Brotherhood, because they are like the vampire hunters. It would be cool to play as those. I know they did a game called Nosgoth, which was okay, and it was cool to see the lore, like to see like the Razalium, just their versions of vampires, which was so cool to see, you know. But seeing all the different clans, you know, like fleshing them out and just building them, it was cool to see that. And then seeing like what was going to be the next game, which was like set like years later, that was really cool. And I do enjoy watching the gameplay, and I just don't understand why people out there in like these big fucking suits can't realize that these are the games that need to be made, and they don't need to be like cartoony graphics. They need to be realistic. The reason why they were cartoony back in the 90s was because that was what we couldn't make them, but now we can. Imagine seeing how like in depth that would look like when you like flying through the air and you just see like the light bleeding through the subsurface of your broken wings, you know, and just changing the gameplay, making this massive world, you know, blending between the two worlds. Because this was the thing with Soul Reaver, it was like you could have two different perspectives of the world, and then it would just, and there was no fucking loading screen. It wasn't like Bethesda, it was like seamless in a PS1 game. Now, PS1 games didn't have that much in terms of memory. I remember on the CD was like 700 megabytes, but even then the RAM wasn't that great, you know, so you had to do what was best. And the fact that they did that back in the 90s, it is insane how they did that. I still don't know how they did it. I would love to know, because me being in game development and learning game development, I would love to know how they did that. I think probably now you probably just change some of the you move some of the positioning, and you probably change some of the shaders, and then, you know, some of the post processing effects. I think that's probably how you do it now. But back then they didn't have that type of stuff, so the way that must have done it was fucking insane, you know. And I mean the music, like listen to like Soul Reaver 1 and Soul Reaver 2. The Soul Reaver 1 theme, it's very difficult to listen to. I had a friend of mine put that on their show, and the very beginning, it's very fucking weird. It's like creepy as shit, like hearing baby crying and stuff. It's like, oh. But and then when it starts to kick off and starts to get that beat, it's just so good. But there is one song I do recommend you checking out. I'll link to it in the description, because I listened to this song. It's a fan-made mashup of both Soul Reaver and Within Temptation, and it's just such a good like combination, and the way that the song plays off the fucking storyline, it's amazing. I mean, Kain is just one of the best. He's one of the best like anti-heroes, because first he's a villain, and then you realise he's actually trying to do something good, and then you got Raziel, who's trying to stop him, and then realizing that probably it's not, and maybe this is destiny, and it's that type of thing. And then when you see the first intro for the first time, and then finally get to Defiance and seeing what happens, it makes you realize that sometimes fate does set things up for us. If we had known what fate has got for us, it's like seeing the turns. We'd understand it a bit more, and that's what he starts to understand, is that no matter what, it's not going to change. So, or he realizes he has to change everything, and it's like, fuck this, better to challenge fate for another throw, a better throw than once gets destiny. What was the king to do? It's that, like, I've always tried to do like a Kain impression, and Raziel, like Raziel was so cool. I swore one day I'd get the Kain tattoo. I thought that was gonna be my first tattoo, but it wasn't. But one day I will get Kain's tattoo and Raziel's tattoo, because they were just so good. It's like, I love like the Soul Reaver blade, like how it looks, like just the energy flowing down his arm, and then you obviously have Kain's sword, which is just like this giant Chris with like the skull on it. It's just the fucking cool shit. And I mean, Kain is just like Simon Templeman's voice is just so fucking awesome. And like what I say, it's like it is Shakespeare, like the way that they talk, and you know, it's like free will is an illusion, and it's just the way you turn me into a vampire. It was just cool, and like the Elder God and Morbius, and you know, it's just listening to the Soul Reaver 2 theme. Just every single time I hear that, I just get chills, because that when you get into that world, when you see the world of Nosgoth, it is like, it's just like this alien steampunk, like medieval world, and it's just, we don't have that type of world building in games anymore, and it's insane. And I really do hope one day that we get a full-blown remake of Soul Reaver, or of the whole Legacy of Kain series. And you know, I hope we get it, because obviously the actors are getting on, and we need a proper remake. And then we need a sequel. We need a continuation, something to wrap up Legacy of Kain, because Defiance it sets up something big, and we need that to be capped off. I mean, it was cool. I remember playing Tomb Raider Legend and finding like a painting of Kain, and I was like, "Oh shit, there's Kain." And then I found out, oh, you get Excalibur at the end of the game, and then suddenly there was a way of unlocking the Soul Reaver, and I was just like, "Oh shit!" And then that's all I used for the rest of the fucking game. Like once I got that Soul Reaver, that was it. I was never going to use any other weapon again, because it's just so cool. I think that's the thing about the 90s and 2000s. We had some really fucking good games. Like we had Soul Reaver, we had like Devil May Cry. Like I will never forget the intro for Devil May Cry, where it's like he gets the sword stuck in his chest, and then she throws the motorcycle and he's like, "Haha, time to go to work out, guys." And then he just shoots the motorcycle, you know. And then the music for that as well. It's just, you know, music back then was just like out of this world, because it said it's all alien. But yeah, but everybody wants another Last of Us. That's all the people go, "Oh, we want to remake The Last of Us." You've already got it multiple times. How many more times do you fucking need it? You know, because there's certain games that deserve a remake. Soul Reaver was one. Blood is another. Known is Forever. Obviously, that's the one that everyone wants. Vampire the Masquerade Bloodlines. You know, there was another one as well. I forgot what it was. That's why I'm sort of glad that Night Dive are going around and fixing games and bringing them back. But it'll be nice to actually have like a big studio just go, "Fuck it, we're going to go and get something that's so old that people will forget, but the old guard like us will remember. And when we come out in droves, then it's like, we've got to play this, because, you know, this is what we played as when we was kids." You know, Soul Reaver came out when I was like, 9? And I played that, and it just changed the way I saw games. Like, what I see now in the modern day, it's just so fucking horrible. Like, I just cannot understand how gaming can just be so tame and so watered down and so cartoony. It's like, "Oh, this is what the kids like." And it's like, fuck that. Make something great, you know. Fucking break rules, you know. Make something like Duke Nukem, or like Tony Hawk's Underground, or like Postal. You know, just don't give a fuck. If people are going to complain, that's what humans do. We complain about everything because our lives are fucking miserable. So just make a good game and just go out. Don't worry about like, "Oh, it's not going to sell, we'll build the suits." I mean, this is the thing. I'm in the process, well, I've been trying to plan it out. But I'm in the process of making a video which will show you how to make a fucking video game completely fucking free. Because it's so easy to do now. And trust me, I wish I had this technology back when I was fucking like 15. Because when I first started game development, trying to get into game development, I was like 16 years old, and the most we had was like it was an FPS creator, or, you know, it was like we just, to get like a 3D modeling software, we didn't have that, and it was like you had to be like on a higher tier, and you had to have like a fucking load of money to get the 3D modeling and the coding and stuff like that. Now you can do all for free, and I will show you that in one of the videos, because I want to show that gaming is not like for the AAA anymore. gaming is so open that you can create a game no matter what experience you've got. There's so much tutorials out there, there's so many asset packs you can get. Hell, we've even got AI. I know AI is a bit of a tricky subject to talk about, but if you are literally, you're not getting any money and you can't afford to hire someone, that's there, and it can help you. But at the same time, you still got to try and work it out for yourself. And there's no quick shortcuts of game development, trust me. The thing about game development that I love as well is like there's never one solution to a problem. There's multiple solutions. You just got to find it. And sometimes it's just so simple when you realise it. And I know it's easier said than done, but that has happened to me multiple times. So yeah, like this is the reason why like I'm just sick to. I just don't like when people just keep like you got game creators and going, it's so difficult making a game when you've got a big massive budget, you got a massive department, and you're just remaking the same shit over and over and then whining about it. You can make better games. There's so many IPs that need that love, care and attention to be brought back. Blood is one, Duke Nukem is another, Known as Forever's one. We need a proper remaster of the thing. Thank you, Night Dive, for remaking it so we can use it on PC. But we need a proper remake of that. Like System Shock, Thief, there's a few others as well. Blood Rain, there's some others and I can't think of them. Can't think of them. All the Jedi Outcast games. Just completely remake Dark Forces. All make Prey 2. Finally make Prey 2, please. I want that game. That's why I'm sort of grateful for people who have leaked builds, because now the fans can take them and remake them and get them working to what we should have had. And so I had to rant because I was listening to this song and I've been playing Soul Reaver, like the remake or the remaster, and it's been fun playing them. But we need a full-blown remake. We need some remake on a good engine, not Unreal, because Unreal runs like dog shit. We need something like Glacier or the engine that... Is it Glacier? No, the Glacier's the IO Interactive. We need the engine that Remedy is using, or the ID Tech engine, because they're just so good. Or the Crytek, because the Crytek engine is just... It's insane. It's like seeing Hunt Showdown on that engine is just amazing. So, yeah. Or Unity. Unity's quite good if you go and actually put the time and effort into it. I mean, seriously, go and have a look at Total Chaos. That was on the Unity engine. You would not believe it. So, yeah. Anyway, thank you for watching. Please like, comment, subscribe. Follow the link in the description that takes to all our social media platforms. And as always, stay safe, my Xile friends. Laters.